Today marks the official withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from the West African regional bloc, Ecowas. The three Sahel states announced a year ago that they were cutting ties with the bloc after their membership was suspended following military coups in the countries. The main role of Ecowas is to promote economic integration in all fields, but the Commission also plays a role in managing peace, security, democracy, and good governance. These three nations have now formed a separate confederation called the Alliance of Sahel States, or AES, which has a strong mutual defense component amongst other aspirations. On Tuesday, thousands of people rallied in their capitals, chanting slogans supporting the withdrawal. But Ecowas does not want to lose these countries and said in a statement that the three nations will continue to benefit from unrestricted travel and trading arrangements with the bloc. However, those leading the AES seem to show little desire to remain part of Ecowas.
The AES is the renaissance of Africa, and I think that all the countries that aspire to the rebirth of Africa should join the AES.
Well, I've been speaking to Mali's former foreign minister, Kamisa Kamara. I started by asking her why these three countries decided to leave Ecowas.
A year ago, these three nations have notified the regional body, Ecowas, that they wanted to leave the organization immediately. I think what is unprecedented here is that we're dealing with three military coup leaders who have decided together to leave the Ecowas and to form a new alliance called the Alliance of Sahelian States. And this is quite unprecedented.
Have Alliance of Sahelian States passports be introduced, and what impact would this have on freedom of movement, particularly in West Africa?
So one of the advantages of the ECOWAS region, which is, I could say, the most integrated region in Africa by many standards, is that within the ECOWAS, citizens travel freely from one country to the other without a visa. They can work in the countries of the ECOWAS without any sort of authorization. And what we know so far is that the AES countries have established their own passports. We have not seen those passports yet. I don't know what they look like. The ECOWAS passports, which their citizens still hold, will still be valid until their expiration date.
I'm curious to hear about trade, because there were celebrations in these three capitals. Some citizens, showing approval for this move to withdraw. But I wonder, doesn't this reduce the market that business people in these three countries would have access to? And what are the potential challenges and risks with that?
First of all, I would like to say and remind everyone that none of these three countries have held any popular consultations that will effectively tell them whether their citizens approve of the withdrawal from the ECOWAS or not. And so I think it's impossible, I think, at this point to know whether citizens agree with this decision. Now, when it comes to trade between those countries, again, I think the ECOWAS is still working out what it means for them, for three former members to exit the organization, and whether trade will be impacted. As I said earlier, the ECOWAS region is the most integrated region of Africa, and I think the economic integration of this region is really, truly a success.
There's that 6-month transition period that ECOWAS has given to AES. Do you think it's possible? I mean, what would it take to convince these three nations to abandon this move, stay with ECOWAS? Is there a possibility of that in the remaining time?
So I think for an entire year, there have been diplomatic efforts led by the ECOWAS and some countries such as Togo and Senegal to really convince the AES countries to come back to the regional bloc. I think one of the reasons that they have exited is that the ECOWAS was putting pressure on these military leaders to conduct elections. They had an electoral timetable, and these military leaderships were really feeling the pressure from the ECOWAS. So I think exiting the ECOWAS is a de facto, we do not want elections, and we're not going to obey your rules, and we can do whatever we want.